basically what we're using as a vegetable today with the salmon is broccoli. The reason why is broccoli is a cruciferous. It's high in sulfur, number one. Number two, it's high in chromium. Sulfur is extremely beneficial as a component for diabetics because it helps support an enzyme mechanism called glutathione peroxidase. So basically what I have here are 2 heads of broccoli, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to split them down the center. And this is generally easier because it cooks much more even rather than obviously a large piece of broccoli. So we're just going to do this real quick. Now besides the sulfur and the cruciferous and the chromium, broccoli obviously has other components that are very beneficial. Now a lot of you may want to use a cutting board. I've become so used to using a knife without a cutting board that I do this, as you can see in my hands, but for those of you feeling more comfortable, please use a cutting board. You want to slice the broccoli, as you can see, pieces that are about 3 inches long and basically quarter. That's what I do generally with broccoli head, is basically I split it in 4 sections. So now what we're going to do is in our cast iron pan, we're going to take spring water and we're going to put it in. It's going to, you want it hot, like this, which is typical. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the broccoli in the boiling water. Now this is, think of it more as stir frying, but doing it with water. We're not using oil. We're using the water itself, and what we're going to do is we're going to basically blanch, so to speak, the broccoli. It maintains the color and the vitamins and the nutrients effectively without using oil and creating more or less a greasy type of vegetable. What we want it to be is more on the aspects of fast and clean. Now it's important to understand that with diabetics, we have to be careful with the consumption of oil, because oil directly communicates to the blood, basically, in what we refer to as blood fats. And blood fats are often found very high in diabetics. So just watch your broccoli. You're going to, once again, just blanch it very quickly. And if it requires a little more water, by all means do so. Something else I like doing as well is adding a little salt while it cooks. So I'm going to take a little sea salt, and once again we're going to sprinkle it over the broccoli as it cooks. Doesn't require really a lot of spices in this case. Sea salt generally brings out the flavor as well as the color. Now, some individuals would like to cover it. If you like your broccoli cooked a little longer. Other people, if you leave the pan uncovered, it generally retains a more crisp texture to it. So I use this technique with broccoli, and I generally run a time of about 5 minutes cooking in this manner. Once again, keep the heat high so the water continues to boil. And many of you probably recognize this is more like blanching, but the Japanese have a traditional cooking method called a water frying method, and that's what I'm utilizing today. That's what I'm showing you. And as you'll see in this series, most of our vegetable dishes will be prepared in this manner using water. If you do prefer oil, and once again I want to emphasize with diabetes, you want to be careful with the consumption of oil. You want to use, I find that using olive oil is delicious, but the olive oil will be applied after it's heated, and generally that means that the olive oil retains that flavor of olives much more dramatically than if it's cooked actually. So Once again, just keep it stirred. And you'll know when it's about ready by the general texture of the broccoli itself as it softens and the color change. And once again, as I mentioned, I generally keep it on for about 5 minutes in this manner. There are other vegetables in the cruciferous family that are beneficial for diabetics as well. And that would be Brussels sprouts as an example. And they're high salt cabbage as an example. But cabbage shouldn't be eaten raw generally because it has a component known as a goitrin. Goitrins are components that basically can inhibit the production of thyroid hormone. If cabbage is cooked, it negates the goitrin component. And so if cabbage is used, generally it's preferred that you either cook it quickly or prepare it, bake it, so on and so forth. And I'll show you more about that in another series. I find personally that broccoli itself, as it's minimally seasoned, as an example, generally has a more flavorful taste to it. It's not something that requires a lot of overpowering herbs to bring out the general quality of it. So we are almost ready here. Now, broccoli is a vegetable, in order to prepare, doesn't necessarily have to be organic. It's preferred, but if you are not able to get organic or financial restrictions basically prevent you from buying organic broccoli, then I suggest what you do is soak the broccoli in a large bowl or your sink with about 3 tablespoons of sea salt in clean water and let it soak for about 20 minutes. And then after that's done, you basically rinse it with clean water. And that is another way of negating. It's not going to eliminate the possibility of pesticides altogether, but what it will do is it will negate some of the harmful effects. Okay, as you can see, the water is almost evaporated. Okay, so as you can see, the color is vibrant. The broccoli is soft, and what we're going to do basically is... Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to drizzle a little olive oil. And we're going to use a minimal amount of olive oil, but we're going to use enough just to bring out that flavor. So I'm going to drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, something that I find compatible would be sesame oil or avocado oil. Some people use avocado oil. What you generally want to do is you want to stay away from the oils that have been heated highly, like in manufacture, such as safflower oil, things like that. So sesame oil, olive oil, something like that would be more preferable. And it's, once again, we want to avoid heating oils because that can change the structure of the lipid itself. We have our salmon here. And what we're going to do, this is a little, as you can see, tender. Okay, there we go. Basically, this is our main dish that's specific for diabetics, type 2 diabetes. And what I'll do is show you the dessert that can be used that will be beneficial. Once again, I want to re-emphasize, this particular meal is specifically designed to supply the primary ingredients that actually help diabetics. And as I covered before, the tyrosine component in the seeds, the EPA and chromium found in salmon, the sulfur and the chromium found in broccoli, all serve to supplement and complement the health of the pancreas, the cells that secrete the insulin, the beta cells. And number two, to help supply the basic nutrients that diabetics can be deficient in.